Hey everybody. I'm not gonna, we'll just leave it there. Mara, we're not gonna expand upon that. Welcome everyone to MasterSpas Facebook Live. Actually, I will say, you guys know I don't care. We were having a personal grooming conversation while we turned it on live. We're just gonna stop there. All right. So anyway, welcome everyone. 4 o'clock Facebook Live. Let's let a few minutes go by and let everyone pop on here. Make sure you tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to see that. It's so cool. It's always like such neat places. And then, you know, we travel a lot for work, so it's always interesting also to see if we've ever been there. Also fun. Hi Lisa, how are you? So we're waiting for our babysitter. If someone could give us a sound check, although we just did the second Chili Goat Facebook Live. That was fun. Hey, long time no see. Same babysitter. All right. Maria, how are you? All right, sound is good. Thank you. Very cool. Very cool. 5 people. We'll give another second. Sounds good. Charlie, what's going on? All right, good to see everybody. Good to be on here. All right. We got some cool topics, questions. Trying not to talk about chemicals, although it does always sort of circle back to that.
Yeah, so today's topic is all about maintaining your spa, nothing about chemicals. So not about necessarily the water, but everything else. But a lot of the maintenance and preventative maintenance you can do for your systems is water care. So it always circles back to water care. Sure. So, but we're just going to do broad brushstrokes, not specific on that, so we can keep the focus here. So ozone, scrubbing, mildew questions, all that stuff. Rob in Anderson, Indiana, good to see you. All right, everybody. 13 people on there. We'll do another minute here. So, Jim, what's happening? Good to see everybody. All right. All right. So, you want to get started, Meryl? We ready? Mama! Sure.
And my mom.
So one of the things that we would mention is how to maintain things other than the water when it comes to your swim spa. So that would include like your acrylic shell, the skirting, the cover.
Covers, yep.
So
covers, that's a question we get all the time is the covers, for sure.
So we could start with the covers. So
okay, go ahead.
We here have a old vinyl, like that fake vinyl cover.
Yeah, not the Sunbrella.
Not the new Sunbrella material.
Yep.
So if, however, many people might still have that vinyl cover, and they maybe just haven't upgraded or gotten a new cover because they haven't needed it, and that's awesome. So there are a couple of tips for making your cover last a little bit longer and protecting it from the elements. Mm-hmm. If you have the vinyl cover, which is the fake, like leathery.
It's just, you could just say vinyl, Mary.
Material.
You don't have to get into it, okay? Those of us who have that, you know, it feels like you're insulting us a little bit. I don't have the new Sunbrella.
Well, I have it. We have it here. So for that, actually for both, we're going to recommend a 303 product.
Hard recommendation. Hard
and
yes.
I have checked. You can get it on Amazon or probably Home Depot or Lowe's and all that. But 303
for outdoor fabric or the vinyl.
Right. So the vinyl is
They make it for both materials.
Protectant. And then for the outdoor fabric, if you have the new Sunbrella material, you're going to use the 303 outdoor fabric.
Right, specifically.
Specific protectant. And, 2 to 3 times a year, if you spray that on the cover, it will help to extend the life of your cover.
Right. So,
how would you recommend for drying out the foam inside?
So here's a couple things. We've got a couple of comments. Charlie just did a full dump and refill after about 14 months. Used your tips I've learned over the last year. Water is perfectly balanced and crystal clear.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome.
Go Charlie. That's what we like to hear. So what happened? We don't ever get like the everything was awesome. We always get the everything is not awesome. I'm not doing this or that right. And so when someone does say, "Hey, I did this and it was awesome. We love it like times 10, because usually only, squeaky wheel, all that, So, all right. Richard Markovich, love you, miss you.
We haven't seen you in a long time,
I know.
Richard. It's not good.
Dealer meeting. We'll fix that.
Yep.
Big hugs. Let's see. Jim, hi from New Hampshire. Jimmy, do you have any advice? I saw this question come up. And it's going right into the perfect time. That never happens either, Jim. No one ever asked the appropriate question during the appropriate segment. So thank you for that. All right, fantastic. Do you have any advice as to why I'm getting black mold spots on the underside of my cover? I've cleaned it totally with bleach, got it looking brand new, and after a couple of weeks, the small black mold spots are back. It's always gonna sort of happen there, but so I actually called in today on a related subject and talked to Kirk, who is the guru. Kirk is head of customer service at MasterSpas. MasterSpas has been building hot tubs and swim spas since forever. And so he has access to every piece of information out there, looking at from a very, wide angle lens, which is fantastic to have access to pick his brain. So it's incredible information, and he's got so much information, it's just swimming around in his head. It's amazing. So what he said was, typically if there's a mold or an algae issue above waterline or even underneath it, it's almost always because there's not enough chlorine, because chlorine being not off-gassed enough might not leave those black marks under a cover, but that's bad too. You'll get like white bleaching from too much chlorine. So if it's black and it's mold, it's probably not enough, and if it's white, it's probably too much. And that's what I was told, and that makes sense to me. So currently, I've actually got some of that on mine, so I had to, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm not on the cover, on the jets that are above the waterline and the lights. So I've scrubbed them with a toothbrush and clean everything, and then chlorinate everything, make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. So it just, for those of us who are not always home and super busy, you want to run it. Make sure you're using enough sanitizer to kill all that stuff. Okay, but on the cover, typically if it's going to be black, it's not enough chlorine situation. And if it's white stains and white, bleaching, it's probably too much chlorine. So it's that happy medium. But it's always going to happen. Of course, I'm looking at underneath ours, and there's a little on the edge, but really not. And our cover is beat on here. We can't use cover lifters on this one here because we have to take them off for filming. So we have never used cover lifters on this swim spa. Although I wish we could. It would be much easier for life. So anyway, Jim, that's what I got. And moving on. So, and then now on the cover, maintenance. Once a year, we are supposed to take the foam out and flip it upside down. So what you can do is you can leave it out in the sun. You can leave the covers off. If you have cover lifters, that could be a bit, like I have hydraulics at home. That could be a bit of a pain to get the cover like all the way off of there. So it just depends on what you've got. But I do actually do the flipping every year of the foam, and it stops that sway back thing from setting in, and then you want to scrub the inside of that cover if it needs it. But you can let it all sit in the sun and dry it out as best you can. You don't want to cut the plastic if you have water in there unless you can unseal it, but then seal it again after getting some of that water out there. But once the water finds a way in, it's typically, the cover's getting old, and we expect 5 good years out of the covers. The Sunbrella material is much better. I actually just got them at my house. They are awesome. They are awesome. So when it's time for a new cover, upgrade to the Sunbrella. It's all that we use now. We don't have the vinyl, but this is an old vinyl one and an old one. It's the wrong color from the swim spot because it's from the first one we had in here, I don't know, over 5 years ago. So this has got some miles on it. So this cover is 5 years old. Interesting. All right. So I cleaned my cover inside and out with mild dish soap water per Sunbrella manufacturer, then treated with 303. Charlie Harrington. Be careful on the soap on the inside, because if that gets in the water, man,
you're gonna have bubbles.
You'll have bubbles till the day we all die. We're trying to avoid that. Just be careful if you do that, okay? If you accidentally drop that dishwasher or dish soap in the tub, oh my God, it's a party then. It's a bubble party. The whole neighborhood will have bubbles. All right, so maybe don't do that. But rather like a bleach solution or a chlorine mixed with water solution. There is a Lysol. Yep. There's the Windex vinegar that you guys know we love. Mike Leahy has mentioned a Lysol product for scrubbing the mildew off the inside of the cover. And if Mike said it, you know it's true. So very simple on that front. Okay. Let's see. So just be careful with the soap on the inside of the tub. If you did it and it dried and everything was perfect, awesome. Just be cautious with that. I wouldn't want to give that recommendation because someone's gonna answer their phone and drop it like this, or the child's gonna run up and knock it out of someone's hand. Something's gonna happen. All right, so let's try to minimize that. All right. Awesome, Charlie. Good for you. All right. What about soaked foam inserts? Drying them out, replace them. Can you? That's a good question. I guess I don't know what the latest information is on that, whether you can replace them. I think that they used to have replacement for the outside. I'm not sure on the inside, or what they're currently doing with the new Sunbrella material. So that's a good question, Melissa. That we need to find out about, and then we will post the answer back on there, unless Anna or anyone is on here now can answer that question possibly. Okay. Chlorine levels are always fine. I have the same issue with some mold above the water lines. Thanks for the response, though. I'll keep a better eye on that. Jimmy, I actually think that I'm guilty of it. So if you think that we're sitting here all perfect preaching down, not at all. I actually think that I'm dealing with that, and I think that I tend to let my chlorine run too low. So, and I do believe that I'm running too low. So that's what I think my issue is, although it's not really happening on the cover at my house. Okay. So let's see. All right. With winter coming up, any tips, videos, or links you can share on how to best winterize our swim spa? So, Thomasita, do you mean winterize as in not use and drain, or do you mean just prepare for the winter and use? That I just need clarification on that. I'll answer both. If you're going to winterize and not use and drain out, I really strongly recommend you have your dealer do it, because they are really good at getting all that water out of there. If you don't get all that water out of there, you are going to have a surprise frozen pipe in the springtime, depending on where you are, and that's never fun to deal with. And also, to be clear on the warranty, winterizing a swim spa doesn't in itself void the warranty, but any damage as a result of it is not covered under the warranty. Okay, and they can tell. If it's always one of those things, no, it just happened. They can tell. They've seen it all. Like I said, Kirk has been sitting here for 20 years looking at this mountain of information, and they always know. Okay, so, but if you mean winterize it, best tips for using it, it's ready to go. You may want to alter your filter times. You may want to change your temperature that you keep it set at. Filter, if you're in a really cold climate, we're in Connecticut, so filter cleaning in the wintertime, it's a pain in the butt. There's no other way around it. It's a pain in the butt, because sometimes, a lot of times I have one hose that I leave on outside. I disconnect the hose and I leave it on, and it's a anti-freeze, anti-siphon hose bib, and supposedly doesn't ever crack or freeze, and to date it hasn't. What you guys may not know is after the Marine Corps, I was a plumber. So if it does happen, I sort of don't care, because I can just go downstairs and fix it. I have isolation valves everywhere, but that's non-typical. So, but a lot of times people will have their outside hose spigots turned off, and if it's off, cleaning those filters and rinsing them out is a pain, and doing it outside in the wintertime is a pain anyway. Like, I'm always waiting for that one warm afternoon where it's not that cold, and then I'll go do it. Otherwise, you got to bring them in and do them in the shower or a bathtub, and that is the easiest way to do them. Or you can take them out and soak them, whatever works best. But nothing is easier in the wintertime anywhere on Earth that it's cold. Changing the water in a foot of snow is worse. Everything is worse when there's a foot of snow, including our mental situation, the whole thing. All right. Let's see. Lauren, how are you? Kenny said, don't winterize it. Use it. It's the absolute best time of year. Kenny, 100% on board with that. That is the best time. Charlie, I took the cover completely off and cleaned it on the patio, then rinsed and dried thoroughly before putting it back on. Charlie, I love that you clarified it, because you know if someone read that first post that someone would drop dish soap in the swim spot, and then, oh my God, so good for you. Yep, good for you. I love it. All right. Let's see. Thomasita said, she replied, I'm trying to hit the see more button. We use ours for a therapeutic reason, and it's too risky to have our medically fragile child out in the cold. Gotcha. Thomasita, another option you have rather than winterizing is just turning it down. You can get a Frogger floater in there and turn the temperature down to 80 and let it run and not have any concern over it freezing or ever causing you a problem. You do have that option as well. But if you're going to have it winterize, please use your dealer. Then if there's an issue, it's on them, and they'll take care of it. It just really, really, it's tricky, okay? Tricky to get all that water out of there. So I would not even presume to give tips on that, because then it becomes my fault. Drain and not use. We don't have a dealer here. There's got to be a tech. Call into MasterSpas customer service. There's got to be a tech in your area. Although what I would do for mine, I wouldn't winterize it under any circumstances. I would turn the temperature down and keep a floater of chlorine in there and never look back. So that's what I would do. And then it won't cost you, to keep it running when you're not really using it. And then, if you always want to, you can always pop out on a nice day, warm it up and go from there, okay? We could leave it on and not use it, but I'd be scared to. Oh, it won't freeze, Thomasita. It won't freeze. You're good with that. It's made for terrible climates. We used, like I tell people all the time, I have been to Winnipeg, Canada in the dead of winter. It was, 30, 40 below zero, 50 with wind chill. They're outside there. So unless she's going to say something crazy. We're in Antarctica or something crazy. But they're fully made for that temperature. So it's not an issue to leave it on and outside. You don't have to winterize it for that. Okay. I hope that helps. Winter never had any, just turning the temp down. Yep. So that's got to be Kayla. Kayla, I did not know that, but I did that for a month. I think I did it in January. I turned it down in January. Kept a floater in there. Never looked back. No issues. We've had it stuff outside for years anyway. Thomasita, awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Turn it down and go. Don't worry about it. Don't winterize it. That's always asking for trouble. Glad that helped. Glad we got you. All right. Okay. Now we're caught up. Okay. Got it. Good questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next, Mary?
Next we can talk about acrylic, shell, and even some of your fixtures. So
you come up. I'm going for a spin.
The jets or your fixtures. We've mentioned this before, and it works just really well to shine things up and make things look really nice. But a vinegar mixture, if you want to home make it with water, I cannot stand the vinegar smell by itself. So I really like the Windex vinegar. It's the clear Windex, and it says Windex vinegar cleaner, and it just works amazingly in the hot tub and the swim spa to clean your acrylic, to clean your fixtures, the jets. It works really well for the your filter cover, your headrest. It really does a great job. Most of the time I just use paper towel or a microfiber cloth. If you have some water line issues, that also really works really well. Use a little bit more elbow grease with that microfiber cloth, but that is going to work really well when for your acrylic and your fixtures. And then your cabinet, the outside cabinet, it also works for cleaning that. We've used that and just a really good scrub brush. So a lot of times you'll get just water lines on that, especially by the steps where you're constantly getting in, and out from. You're gonna get the drip spots, and a scrub brush with that vinegar cleaner. I hate Simple Green, but
Tell them why. Let me tell them why.
I will tell you. So when I was a teacher, Simple Green was used to clean up throw up. I don't do throw up. at all. So whenever I smell Simple Green, I smell throw up.
She leaves. She's gone. All right, get out of here. Let me tell the story. Get out of here. All right, so she's terrible. If her own mom is feeling like she might throw up, Mary's like, you guys got this? Poof, gone. It is hilarious. It is so freaking hilarious.
Thank God I don't have children.
Yeah, if there's any kind of throw up involved, Mary is out. No Simple Green, no throw up. Lisa, yeah, Lisa's probably hysterical. We had this conversation. So hilarious. Yeah, she will step on your back. If you're laying on the ground vomiting, Mary will step on your back and your head to get away from you as quickly as possible, 100%. And it, your fans are coming on here. Yup, right there with her. You guys, yeah, absolutely.
But Simple Green does work well to clean if you can tolerate the smell.
Charlie said, I cleaned my entire shell with it while it was empty using Windex vinegar.
Yeah.
Took out the jets and cleaned them too. Charlie, the stuff is freaking awesome.
It really works well.
That was your discovery, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that was Mary's discovery. Now we've got the factory using it.
We've used it at photo shoots, and just it really shines things up.
It cleans up stuff that is not new and lost its new shine. This stuff is really awesome. Yeah, we always have it on hand here. Actually, now it's at our house too. Lisa, she would step on our heads. If we were both laying down ill, she would run across our back and skulls to get away from us rather than help. Yeah, gone. Absolutely hilarious. Jim, I was that kid in school. Sorry, Mary. Yep. Yeah,
I think that's where it started. When I was in school, when other children grew up, I was...
Amazing. Thank you for that laugh. That was good. I'm sure everybody's giggling just because I'm like such an idiot over it. Okay, what's next? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, so we did mention about winterizing. So we do recommend leaving it up and running all winter if you're able to use it. That's amazing. If you are going away and you don't have anybody to take care of your swim spa, then it's great to winterize it and have your dealer winterize it.
For sure.
And one of the other things that a good thing with helping to maintain your water is setting your filter cycles, and that's one of your systems that is within your control panel. So I think, what do we have, 3 and 3 our filter cycles, or in the hot tub?
Not just 3 and 3. There's 2.
3 and 3.
3 and 3.
No, in the swim spa, this particular swim spa has a circulating pump. But in the hot tub that we have here does not have a circulating pump. So we have the filter cycle set to about 3 hours a day in the morning and 3 hours per day in the evening, and it works really well.
Yep, works perfect.
So,
can you grab do you have your phone?
Yes.
Grab the questions.
Yeah.
We've got.
Patricia
asked, can you use it on the outside of the cover? I'm assuming you mean the vinegar. You can use it on anything.
Yeah.
It's totally safe. Yes, absolutely. Although it does not replace the 303 protectant.
Right.
It's a cleaner, not a protectant. Andrew, hi, my name is Andrew. I knew you live. I don't understand, but hello, welcome. What if you are away for a week or 2 in the winter? Does it need to be winterized for that? Jill, no. I wouldn't do anything. In fact, I don't do anything when I leave for a week. I often leave for a week in the winter. Just make sure there's enough chlorine in there. Keep it at whatever temperature you want to. If you're not going to use it at all, turn it down. To 1 week, I don't know that I would really bother turning it down for 1 week, because you're going to, for what you save, you're going to cost to run it back up. So I'd probably let that run. 2 weeks, I think I might turn it down. If it was 2 weeks, if it was longer than 2 weeks, I would definitely turn it down. But for 1 week, I don't know that I would bother. I think that your savings will be voided by the cost of heating it back up if you're planning on getting back in there when you get back. So I don't think I would do that. All right. And also, you know what? I need to, this winter, hold me to this. All of you. So I have a monitor, and now I have solar, so I don't care anymore. On my house, I have a monitor. I can actually tell exactly how many kilowatt hours my swim spa is using in Connecticut every live. I can tell live, or I can tell for the month, but I want to get the pool. Remember we talked about the insulating the solar cover and put it in between the cover and the water and see what that did to the bill over the course of a week or two or even a month, and see if it has a measurable difference. Because we've always talked about it, but a well-respected service tech with 20, 30 years of experience had told me that himself, that it did make a difference, and I never confirmed it with numbers and actual measuring ability, which I can do on mine. So let's get that done this year. Hold me to it. That means all of you, and my mom, and Beth, and everyone watching this, and Mary, and Kayla, and MasterSpas. Okay? All
Okay,
right.
question number 1. This is from Tom in Massachusetts. Is it okay to use baking soda in my hot tub?
It is. So baking soda will raise your pH and alkalinity. It kind of does both. So yeah, I've used it before plenty of times.
But it doesn't replace a sanitizer. That's
No, right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for pH and alkalinity adjustment. It does not replace. Good clarification, Mary, for sure. So absolutely, yeah. But yes, you can. It is safe. Just make sure. I guess the correct answer is make sure there's nothing added to it. Sometimes they have scent or deodorizer in weird combinations. None of that. Just straight baking powder or baking soda. You're good.
Barbara in Florida asked, how do I remove rust on the handles in my swim spa? I'm afraid of getting chemicals in my water.
Toothy brush. You can use actually, I'm going to go back to the vinegar.
Yeah.
The vinegar spray. Friggin' awesome. You won't need any. I was going to say you could make a little mix with a little bit of bleach or chlorine in there. You don't even have to do that anymore. The vinegar stuff works awesome.
Yeah.
So little toothbrush. And make sure, and then if you're getting a lot of rust above the waterline on metal stuff, you're probably not off-gassing long enough with the cover open after chlorinating. So just make sure you're doing that for that full 15, 20 minutes. If you're doing 15, bump it to 20 and let it off-gas a little bit longer, and then and then get a little toothbrush. Don't use your toothbrush, use an old one. And the vinegar spray, you're perfect. Hang on, we got a comment back here. Jill said, thanks for answering. We don't have a swim spa yet, but I want to learn everything I can. Jill, you know what, Jill, we found that a lot of people were in a similar situation and wanted to make sure they fully knew what they were getting into. So we have a lot of that here, so welcome. And you're absolutely welcome to learn and hang out as long as you like.
Next question is from Rob in Hawaii. How to replace a jet? So I'm not sure if you're asking, so all of the jets in the MasterSpas are like a Pro Lock, and they are compressed.
Can you see
jet.
that?
So I turned the jet counterclockwise, so to the left, and I unlocked the jet, and it came so that I can take it out. So if I was interchanging, I can move this a different spot, or if I was going to replace this jet, I can order a new jet from my dealer and it's going to just fit in the same.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I'm getting the correct size, and if you call the dealer that you purchased from, they will help to order the correct size
Absolutely.
and jet, so that you can they'll ship you a brand new one and you can
Absolutely.
fit it into the right
Yep.
spot.
Piece of cake, 2 seconds to replace it.
So I don't know if you meant just have you replace it with exchange it or replace with a new one, but you can order a new
Yeah,
one.
piece of cake.
Next question is from Patrick in Florida. How do you...
I'm going to pause you right there. Patricia asked, where did you get the solar cover? I'm talking about the solar cover for mine. I
He hasn't gotten it
didn't.
yet.
I need to get it. The using it part's easy. It's the getting it part that I'm just busy
Home
and
Depot?
I'm sort of a jerk. So I want to say like a pool store or maybe Amazon have it, and then you want to cut it to the
Right.
water size. You don't want it on the rim. Maybe we should do it together and test it. But you don't want it on this rim. You want it on the water. So cut out as closely as you can to the water shape, which is easier said than done because we have contours on there. There for a reason. Remember, stable, strong walls. American muscle. Remember all that. So that's why, but it'll be worth it. Hopefully. Let's try. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
Patrick in Florida. How do you validate your ozonator is working? And what upgrade options exist, as I hear the MasterSpa OEM part is only lasts about a year. What maintenance for the ozonator and how important is it?
Okay, so I was laughing at put a reminder on your calendar. Jan, I need someone to come smack me. I need a reminder that does that because we're like stupid busy. But yes, I want to do it before January. So I need to do it in December, put it on there so that we can measure January. And then we'll know the truth because that's typically the coldest month here, I think. So, okay, so back to ozone. So a couple of things. One is I spoke with Kirk today, so great source of information. So if there's a bunch of ifs in here. So I asked him a simple question and it's never a simple answer. There's always, and I'm like, of course there's different answers for different things and it makes perfect sense, but that's why I ask him because I want to know all the different sorts of information. So one of them is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is going to bring the solar cover, Mary. Fine, awesome. That'd be great. Then I don't have to do it. So if Santa could cut it too, that would be super. So back to the ozone. If you have a circ pump, a 24-hour circ pump, your ozone should last you about 2 years. If you have filter settings and no 24-hour circ pump, your ozone should actually last about 5 years. Okay, these are good numbers. These are from Kirk, so I can't get in trouble for sharing these numbers. This is from Kirk.
I had remembered.
Well, he went
that
super
it
detailed.
Would be 5 years.
Yep. And then what you want to do is there's a couple things. So some of the ozone generators actually have a power light and an operational light that they're functioning correctly. So, but you would have to take the cabinet off to look at that. So if you have and there's been over the years, there's been different ozone generators. So some may have that, some may not. But if you go with the circ pump, every 2 years, just replace it because it's not going to last any longer than that. And if you don't have a 24-hour circ pump, change it at 5 because it's not going to last any longer than that. So those are good numbers and you don't really need to worry about it too much else. If you have the type of ozone generator that has the operational light, you should be pretty good shape. You can actually do that if you feel like taking off the cabinet. Otherwise, honestly, I guess I'm asking myself what I'm going to do, and my thought is it's 2 years old and I have a circ pump at home, so it's time to change it. Good question. So I guess if you're going to check it, what difference does it make if you check it if you know that you have to change it at that time anyway?
Yeah.
So I guess that's my take on that, all that information. 2 and 5. 24-hour circulation pump versus not, and that goes for swim spas, hot tubs, all the above. Okay?
Okay, Jean from Minnesota. Do we have to clean the filters all winter? We live in Minnesota and it would be difficult. So the problem is that in Minnesota your winter is a bit long.
And terrible.
So we appreciate the difficultness in cleaning the filters, but I would recommend bringing them inside. And just cleaning them with your hose or in the tub.
Yeah.
Because going all winter
it's too long.
Might be a little bit too long.
It's too long. If you had a situation where you turned it down and you weren't running it, you turned the temperature down, you weren't in it, that would be a different situation. My mother, you need to come change the ozonator here. Mom, I need to do 2. I need to do mine too. So
another
mine's 3.
With the filters, Gene, is that you can have 2 sets. So
I'll do it, Mom.
So that you don't have to sit out in the cold to wash one. Bring one inside, wash it in the sink or in your tub, and in the meantime, put the other set that you washed previously into the swim spot.
Right on. Right on.
And the last question, which we kind of addressed a little bit earlier, is from Melissa in North Carolina. Mold forms around the jets and parts at the water line, as well as underneath our cover. How do we eliminate or avoid this? The water and chemicals are fine. So
your question was the reason I called Kirk on it, and it came up with the same thing. And this is something I have also personally had, and I know that a lot of times I'm so busy I don't. Whereas you open it up and the water looks perfect, but I know that the chlorine is at 0, so you want to make sure you're fully chlorinated all the time and make sure you have enough running in there. It's going to be that. If anything happening under the water line with mold, it's probably algae. So algae is going to grow black and it's going to look like mold, but under the water it's algae, not mold. More than likely, I think mold needs air to grow, right? So it's algae.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm forgetting my science and all that stuff. But if it's under the water line, definitely a shortage of chlorine. No question about it. Chlorine kills that stuff really fast. Okay? So just make sure you have enough in there. Let's see. First I've heard of ozonator is info and manual. Yes, Patricia, 100% in there. Absolutely. Okay. Will you deliver and install in Tampa? Absolutely. There's I think there's a MasterSpas dealer right in Tampa.
Yeah.
Southeast Spas. Call them up. Absolutely. Melissa, we have a Froggies and the test strips look fine, but I can add more chlorine. So I will tell you, Melissa, that I used a Froggies as well, and I had the identical situation. And what I think was happening is the chlorine side of the Froggies, the Smart Chlor. I'm assuming you're using that because the other one is naughty to use. You're supposed to use the Froggies, Smart Chlor. That's dichlor based. I think that there wasn't enough chlorine in it, and I know the test strips that come with the Froggies are a little different. It's just like a go no go rather than a range. So I sort of want more than that in there, and I will no longer be trusting that myself because I think it let me go south, and that's when I had that issue, was specifically with the Froggies. I realized that that's going to upset everyone, but if you're not changing them fast enough or often enough where you're running out, you are going to go low on chlorine. And this wasn't a situation, I think, that it didn't work. I think it was a situation that I was not paying attention and thought that I was bulletproof because of that Froggies. So I'm going to call that my fault and not blame Froggies, but I don't love their test strips with the go, no go. I'd rather use a good test strip that gives you exactly what's in there, 1 to 3, parts per million, 3 to 5, and all that stuff. So that's what I think we should do. I do always like to have a Froggies around the house. If I know I'm going to be busy, I can toss it in there, at least get a few weeks where I don't have to think about it. Okay, so that's my plan on that, Melissa. It sounds like we had in a very identical situation. Okay, but interesting that we both used the Froggies. I just didn't mention it, but that is exactly what happened. Damien Holmes, always good to see you, dude.
Damien.
Always good. We're huge fans of Damien. I will tout him as, if not the, one of the smartest techs and individuals I have ever come across in this industry, and he is just wicked. And he's also awesome. That doesn't, if he was uptight and I can't swear, if he was a jackass, obviously we wouldn't even say hello, but he's so awesome. And on top of being that smart, he's like double threat guy. All right, Clifford. What's the best way to keep an even stream of water across the full length opening of the waterfall? It's always a partial stream, and yes, we've used a credit card that clean opening, and it helps for a while. I was gonna say the credit card. I wonder, there just must be junk in there, in the line, and like a lot of it. So I guess you just have to keep doing that until eventually you get it all out. I was gonna say that. So if it works, for temporarily, then it's working, and then you have to just do it again because that line has a lot of odd amount of silicone in it, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah.
So keep doing it until it's done. I guess it shouldn't be, unless you have like an algae situation that was coming in there, but that shouldn't be the case. I'd be surprised. So do it again and again and again until it stops. That's my advice. That's what I would think I would do, and I think that makes sense to me. All right, Damien, hi guys, good to see you, dude. All right, we're good?
Yeah.
Killed
So
it.
we will be back in 2 weeks. I think we're actually home in 2 weeks. So, and I think, now that I've had time to think, it's October 9th, I believe.
Dude,
So-
are we going to go to my mom's to change her ozone on the next Facebook Live?
We could.
I don't know if that's a wise idea.
But
Yeah, I swear when I work on things. I curse, and I think everyone does, unless you're like a professional.
so we will see everybody on the 9th, around then, if it's not a Wednesday. But normal Wednesday.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Clifford, you're welcome.
Everybody have a good
All right.
night. Thanks for joining us.
All right, awesome guys.
Bye-bye.
Catch you in 2.